One of the poems mentioned in the class was William Wordsworth's I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Wordsworth fills this lyrical piece of poetry with joy and a sense of calming. Wordsworth mentions this in the preface of Lyrical Ballads, writing, quote, "Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility," end quote. Readers can see poetic devices from the beginning of the poem. The poetic device readers notice first is the usage of simile. A simile is a direct comparison between two unlike things and uses the words like or as to compare them. We can see the usage of simile in the first two lines of the poem. Quote, "I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills," end quote. These two lines resemble simile usage because it compares the human author to a cloud and compares them with the word as. We can also see simile in lines 7 through 8 when Wordsworth describes how many daffodils he sees. He writes, quote, "continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way," end quote. Wordsworth compares the number of daffodils to the number of stars in the Milky Way and compares them with the word as. The following poetic device visible in the poem is the usage of imagery. Imagery is a description that appeals to the senses. We can see imagery in the poem 4 different times. First, we can see it in lines 3 and 4, quote, "When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils," end quote. Secondly, readers can see imagery in lines 11 through 12, when he writes, quote, "10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance," end quote. Thirdly, there is imagery in lines 17 and 18. He writes, quote, "I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought," end quote. Finally, we can see imagery in lines 21 and 22, quote, "They flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude," end quote. All 4 sections describe how the daffodils appeal to the author's sense of light. One more poetry device readers can see in the poem is the usage of hyperbole. Hyperbole is the usage of an exaggerated statement to heighten the effect. We can see hyperbole in line 11 when Wordsworth describes the number of daffodils he sees. Quote, 10,000 I saw at a glance," end quote. Although readers understand there are many daffodils, he uses a number to heighten the effect of how many daffodils are in the field.